Good evening, friends. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. You know the drill. I'm a retired New York City police detective. And if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, please consider hitting the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Tonight, I have a special treat for you guys. Doug Bishop, formerly of Adventures with Purpose, he is now a part of the United Search Corps Incorporated. He is going to come on with us tonight to talk about his new venture and mission, searching for the missing, something that Doug Bishop does the best. We've had him on previous shows after the recovery of Kylie Rodney, and we all have been followed that case closely. Doug and his specialized team and the things that he knows how to do best. He's going to come on with us. He's going to talk to us about it. But before we get into it, I want to say a special thank you to you, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, the folks who positively engage in all of our Crime Time with DutyRon live streams and uploads. You are what makes this community a great place. I give thanks and praise to each and every one of you for your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to the replay viewers, you guys are awesome. So we appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to the moderators who work tirelessly for this community to keep it a really classy place. So kudos to you guys who do the moderating. But let me just play quickly. I want to jump right into this because Doug is here with us, and I want to just play a little bit. This is a trailer. This is kind of like an intro into what he's doing. I know most of you have seen this, but for those of you who haven't seen it, I want to play it for you, and let's just get right into that. So this is a quick little clip. It's only 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Let's play it, and then we'll jump right in with Doug.
I'm really excited to share with you all our nonprofit organization, United Search Corps, where we are going to represent the unrepresented, fight for those who can no longer fight for themselves, and be a voice for the voiceless. Nearly 600,000 people go missing each and every single year, as well as 4,400 unidentified bodies are found and located. But what happens to a case once it goes cold? Who helps on those cases? And that's a huge gray area in resources that our government provides and doesn't provide when cases go cold, because they can't. They have to justify their use of resources. And that's where all of our focus is going to come in. I say, Doug, why did you form a nonprofit organization? Well, the impact that we need to make, it's going to take a nonprofit organization to really correct that gray area in law enforcement. We're going to be providing a lot of training for law enforcement agencies here locally in the United States, as well as governments international. We're going to be making a big push, set up bereavement services for the families that we assist. And this is a big deal to me, making sure that we have the appropriate volunteers aligned for these families that are therapists and mental health professionals. We need you. Please reach out to me. Reach out to one of our board members. Just go to our website and fill out the form for that service so that we can get connected and so that you can help us help others. That's a big passion of mine, is to make sure that the families that we're helping have the opportunity to get the bereavement services, the counseling services that they're going to need. And it's not just about when we find a loved one. It's about when we come into working with a family and they haven't had any help in X amount of years, 20 years. And here it is. We come in and we're providing hope for them, clearing areas, searching, organizing law enforcement to come back into the case. This kind of reopens wounds. When it comes to cold cases, when it comes to missing persons, there can never be enough help. And together, you have put us in the position to help others. And I want to thank each and every one of you for that. Go over to our website, check out the forms that we have designated for sponsors, for volunteers, for mental health professionals, for law enforcement. Please, we want to hear from you. Reach out to us. We want to connect, because together we're stronger, and together we can help others, and together we can make the impossible happen. I say it all the time. Relentlessness to accomplish the impossible makes it possible.
Outstanding. That is an exciting video, and I know that everybody here in the chat, and I want to just take a moment to say thank you to all of the friends of the dive community in the chat. I see Nick Rinn is here, Sam the Adventure Man, Josh Cantu, and all of the great ones are here supporting. So thank you for being here. And without further ado, Doug Bishop from USC is in the building. Doug, thank you for being here.
Likewise. Thank you for having me, Ron.
Hey, you know, we have been speaking on and off, back and forth over these last several months. And, you know, I was just so excited for your plan and what you had going on behind the scenes. And, you know, a lot of it you couldn't really even speak to me about. But here we are in this current day to date right now. You have your United Search Corps. This is an exciting time for you. And I would like for you, if you could, just let the folks know what the mission statement is and what you guys are up to, and just let's talk about it.
Our mission is to help where there's hardly any help. You know, there's a lot of great organizations that specialize in assisting law enforcement, assisting in searching and so forth, but there can never be enough help. And we've learned how to do some really miraculous things over the last couple of years. We're going to take that and we're going to make a bigger impact with that by, you know, innovating, adapting, educating, and networking with all of the amazing resources that are coming in.
Yeah, and that's exciting in itself. I got to tell you, you know, for me, I don't know if there's like a little delay that I'm getting. I'm not sure if this is because it seemed like you were still talking, but I'm sorry about that, Doug. Yeah, sometimes StreamYard, it has a mind of its own. So how this can sometimes clear up, and I'll tell you, this is a live show, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes we can clear that up by either Xing out and coming back into the link, and then making it, you know, where it's, you know, real time. So maybe we'll try that. Doug's gonna bounce out and then come back in, and then I'm gonna try to see if we could reset everything. All right, Doug.
Awesome.
So let's give that a try. All right. Doug is out, and I'm going to have him come back in because that's going to be tough to do an interview like that. But in the meantime, folks, I wanted to show, while Doug is rebooting and coming back on, there was a couple of pieces of information and a couple of videos that were played. Kylie Rodney, the recovery of Kylie Rodney was huge. Using side scanning sonar, Nick Rinn and Doug and the whole team found Kylie Rodney in 35 to 45 minutes when we had a ton of resources out searching for her. And what I want to highlight is this is what he is envisioning to do going forward. Again, helping other folks who are out searching for the missing. There is 600,000 or more missing persons reported every year. A lot of those 600,000 resolve themselves by people either running away, coming home, solved. A lot of these cases are resolved, but over almost close to 100,000 new cases per year are unsolved. And that's a staggering figure. That figure is frightening. So that's why folks like, you know, EquiSearch, United Search Corps, all of the folks who are out there doing God's work, the dive teams like Jacob from Chaos Divers, Nick Rinn, you know, all of these folks, they're so needed. There's so many of these cases. There's so many loved ones who are missing out there. So I wanted to play this little piece. It's 3 minutes. It's going to give Doug a chance to get back into the game here and reboot his router. So let's just play this little piece.
It is our missing person. We have not been able to positively identify, and it is still a very active investigation.
The Nevada County, California sheriff making that tragic announcement yesterday about missing 16-year-old Kylie Rodney. That body found by a team of volunteer divers who specialize in search and rescue. It took them 35 minutes after authorities had been searching the area for more than 2 weeks. Joining us now are Doug Bishop, lead investigator for Adventures with Purpose, and Nick Rinn. He's a diver with the group. So, Doug, obviously not a discovery that you necessarily wanted to find, but you did. Tell us how it happened.
You know, we've developed a unique skill set over the years here with cold cases, you know, and we use those tactics in this particular case. You know, we specialize in sonar, particularly in discovering vehicles underwater, you know, linked to missing persons cases. You know, it's not necessarily a knock on law enforcement, But if you don't know how to use it, that's what we bring to the table. We bring specialty sonar skills to the table, and that was the difference maker in this case here.
And Nick, you're a diver with the group. I don't know if did you dive in this particular situation?
Yes, I did.
And what did you discover?
So once we were on the water for approximately 35 minutes when I saw something on the sonar that caught my eye. We had two separate boats at the time. Doug was in one, I was in one. We saw something on the sonar. I scanned it from different directions, knew that it looked out of place and it was a man-made object. So I called Doug over to get a second set of eyes on it. Once we did several passes over it and confirmed that it did look like a vehicle underwater, we relocated our mobile dive unit around onto the shore closer to the location. I put my dive gear on, got in the water and swam out to it and went down, and pretty much within 5 seconds I recognized that it was the missing vehicle we were looking for. It was upside down in about 14 feet of water. I was at the rear of the vehicle and saw the license plate and instantly right away knew that was the vehicle we were looking for. Then I did a 360-degree assessment of the vehicle, which is a protocol that we do to see the condition of the vehicle and see if there are human remains inside. And during that, I discovered there were human remains inside. So we knew this is what we were looking for. I came back to the surface, informed Doug of what I'd found. He immediately called the family members and then law enforcement to get them on the scene.
So I wanted to play that, folks, so you guys can get an idea. That was from August of 2022, obviously an old clip, but it's showing the skill set that Doug Bishop, Nick Wren, and all the folks who are in this dive community have. And some of them, are very, very needed out there. So I just got confirmation from Doug. He's restarting and he's going to come back and join us. Hopefully the audio will be synced the right way. But thank you to everyone who is throwing out those super chats. I see you guys, Southwest 4x4. Thank you for that $5 super chat. She says, United Search Corps, thank you for continuing your mission. I'm going to try to scroll back and say hello to a couple of the folks that are here. Josh Cantu is here. This case was solved 8 months ago. Yes. But I'm just using it as a news brief, kind of giving people the importance of how this kind of specialty is so important. Searching for the missing is not just about searching on the ground. There's so many bodies of waters across our great United States, and there's a definite need for this. So let me go to the chat and say hello to everyone who's chiming in. Legal-minded friends, Karen from the UK, thank you for joining. Miss Donna Marie, thank you for all that you do. Maddie Boy Sully is here. So many great ones. And Doug is going to be here in a few minutes. Good to see you. Thank you, Norma. Thank you for joining. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for the birthday wishes. My birthday is over with. It was Wednesday. And so thank you so much for everyone chiming in for the birthday love. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, United Search Corps, an important organization getting off the ground. And I felt it was really important to come live here tonight to highlight what Doug is up to. And it was exciting for me 2 weeks ago to see him speak about this and just to hear him talking again in a public forum, to me was an exciting thing, because these families, the victims and the families they need the closure. They need as much and as many resources that they can get on these cases. And I know everybody is, again, willing to support such great people who give so much. And I talk about EquiSearch all the time. Dave Rader and Twyla Cisco, they're out there. When families call them, they drop everything. And as long as law enforcement's on board with it, they come out and they do this searching, and they do it for free. They never charge anybody. So we're going to get into it with Doug, and we're going to speak about his new organization. Yes, 616 Love. It's scrolling at the bottom right here. And I also have the website linked in the description. So definitely check out his website. It's a lot of great information. There's places on the website to volunteer and help out with searching. Doug's back in. I think he's good. As soon as he gives me the thumbs up, we're going to put him right back on. All right, there it is. The big thumbs up just came in. All right, Doug, how are we doing? You can hear me better?
I can hear you a lot better. I'm just having some technical difficulties. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. I
And
apologize, you guys.
listen, this is what live streaming, welcome to my world. It happens all the time, Doug. Don't worry about it.
Right.
I showed the little piece from Kylie Rodney that you guys did in the summer of 2022. And the recovery of Kylie Rodney, I played it because it's an important thing. In the piece that I played with you introducing this new venture that you're going on here, you talked about education with providing law enforcement with the tools and education to use this type of technology. Kylie Rodney, I mean, there was so many man hours that were dedicated to searching for her. You guys came in and within 35 to 45 minutes, you found her. Can you talk about what you're looking to do with, police agencies across the United States, and you talk about outside of the country as well?
Yeah. So everybody that knows what we've been doing over the last couple of years and has been following all the other dive teams that are doing amazing things as well, we know that we've touched on sort of an inaccuracy with the way resources are either utilized or where there aren't even any resources whatsoever. And with learning something like this and discovering how powerful it can be, in order to make an impact, a greater impact, which is our duty when we learn these type of things, is to facilitate that gap, bridging that gap with law enforcement. Sorry, I'm tongue tied. Bridging that gap with law enforcement for those that are wanting to invite us in and learn from the unorthodox things that we're capable of doing, because they're unorthodox. They're not textbook whatsoever, and sometimes that's what it takes. So taking our time to teach law enforcement those methods that we're using, the sonar, and also on the flip side of that, reciprocating that education and learning all of the things from law enforcement that I do not know, that we don't know, because we do not come from that background. And there is a whole lot of textbook law enforcement stuff that we can have ourselves and learn, that's going to make that a lot better for us and make us more of an asset than we already are.
And that's a fantastic thing, because anytime that you can further our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners, it's a win, because they have a tremendous amount of resources available to them. And as we saw in this Kylie Rodney case, they had so much resources, but they weren't able to get the job done in the time that you guys came and did it in 35 or 45 minutes. You were a guest on Police Off the Cuff, retired Detective Sergeant Bill Cannon. I had the commanding officer of the NYPD scuba unit on with you when you came as a guest over the summer. And he, the first thing that the sergeant said, actually, Lieutenant, he's going to be pissed at me, I just demoted him. The lieutenant said to you is that I've been watching what you guys are doing, and you're doing God's work. And this was from the commanding officer of the harbor and scuba unit, which you had an opportunity in the recent past to come in contact with, doing another venture that you were doing. But he came right on the show and he said, kudos to what you guys are doing. And he's been watching what you guys are doing. So, like you said, it's a learning give and take, back and forth. There's certain things that law enforcement can show you guys and vice versa. So Doug, with this organization, right? So we're looking at national coverage on cases, missing persons. You talked about 600,000. We know some 100,000 cases remain unsolved out of those 600,000 every year. So 100,000 going forward of active cases. That's 500,000
every year. Every year in and year out. And there's literally millions of cases that are unsolved.
Yeah.
And there's no matter how good of the resources that are aligned by public safety and our government, there can never be enough help. There can never be enough help. And hats off to law enforcement, because I'm 100% pro law enforcement, but they have to justify their use of resources when they have them. And when a case goes cold, which the majority of cases go cold, and there's nothing to go off of until something comes back up. And that's where organizations, like NECMEC and Texas EquiSearch and, United Search Corps and, the Black and Missing Foundation and Missing Murdered Indigenous Women, all of these organizations are going to come in and try to make a difference in families' lives and be a voice for somebody who no longer has a voice. And that's powerful. It's really powerful.
And when folks and groups like this collaborate together for one set goal and mission is to find the missing and to bring closure for the surviving families, that is key, because we're strong in numbers. Instead of having friction and trying to pull that rope, we want to work in together. We work as a unit together, and that's something that in our conversations, I took that away from our conversation, and I thought it was a very positive thing. You said, I want to work with as many people as I possibly can, so I can learn from them and they can learn from me. So that's a great thing, Doug. And I think that you're going to help a lot of people going forward with a whole bunch of different people coming together to collaborate with the searching for the missing. So it's a great thing. I wanted to also go to the chat, because there's so many people in the chat, and if you noticed, a lot of your comrades and some of the folks that you worked with were in the chat early on. So
yes,
a lot of people,
and shout out to those guys. You showed the Kylie Rodney case, you showed Nick Wren, and he's doing amazing things, and his really awesome certifications I'm really jealous of he just got. And not only Nick, but Devin Carroll and Josh Cantu and all of the other dive teams. You got Sunshine State Sonar, you got the other team down there, Recon Dive Recovery, We Are the Essentials, Exploring with Nug, Chaos Divers, Adam Brown, Adventures, Depths of History. Like, there's so many people that are doing this and making a difference. It's not just me. In the grand scheme of things, what I'm doing and what I'm trying to accomplish and the direction I'm going in is so far past me. I'm just putting in the legwork to try to make it possible. So go follow all of those guys I just mentioned, because they deserve all of the love and support that you guys are giving me. And as in regards to the Kylie Rodney case, it wasn't me there. I was there, but it wasn't just me. I didn't make that happen. Devin and Josh and Nick and Carson. It took a team to accomplish that, and we went in there and we made it happen on that case.
It's funny you mentioned that, because when we first got together and we spoke about it shortly after the Kylie Rodney was recovered, that's exactly what you said. It was like, it was not me, look at what I did. It was the team. You spoke a lot about the team, and it takes a team to do this. When there's a search for someone who it's not just involved in the water, I know you guys at one point there were specializing just in underwater searches of people in vehicles. But when you talk about ground searches and so forth, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different animal when you're searching for someone on the ground. But those searches on the ground ultimately sometimes lead to searches of bodies of water that are nearby, where cell phone pings were.
Yeah.
And that was one of the great things that I heard you say on Kylie Rodney, is that you went to a different location first based on a tip, but then you went to where you originally wanted to go, was that last cell phone ping. And that was key right there. That was key. And that's what most law enforcement would encourage people to do: search for the last known location, whether that is a phone call that was made, a cell phone ping, a sighting, and so forth. So yeah, Doug, I couldn't have said it any better. And speaking about collaborating, that is something that somebody like yourself, I get the feeling and the vibe from speaking with you, is that it's not just about you, it's about your team, because that you can't do this alone. That's a fact.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
So let's say hello to some of the people in the chat. Nick Rin, again, is still here, and I saw Josh Cantu. He says, proud to have been a part of that. Thank you to all involved. And folks, for those of you in the chat, I plan to have Nick Rin join me as soon as he's ready. Him and I have spoken on the phone. I want to get Nick in studio here to talk about what he's doing as well. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't touch on this. I know that there's certain things, Doug, that you and Nick and Josh and all of the great ones that were part of the team, that because of certain law and situations that you guys are bound by, you can't really speak about some of the stuff that was going on in the past. And there's so many people who are fans and following you guys and supporters of you guys that want to know answers to certain questions. I just want to put that out there that, hey, folks, if Doug and Nick and all of them could sit with a bullhorn and talk to you guys or blast it out on a loudspeaker, they would. But because of certain situations with law happening right now, and I know we don't have to go into that, but they cannot get into those questions. And I know that a lot of you guys want questions answered. There will be a time sometime in the future. I don't know when that will be, but they'll be able to talk more freely. So please understand and just give these guys a little bit of slack, cut them a little slack in regards to that, because trust me, I know that they do want to talk, but they just can't. They're bound by law. Do you want to maybe expand on that a little bit? Maybe I didn't say that perfectly.
No, you said it perfectly fine. And just to remain professional and respectful. Anyone that says that they are a victim deserves to be heard, 100%, no matter what. On the flip side of that, it is very important that we all respect due process. And there are certain things that we cannot talk about legally, and until that time changes, unfortunately, we're going to have to let due process play out. And,
yeah, absolutely.
Not really much I could say.
I got you, brother. I got you. I just wanted to put that out there. I thought I would do it for you because I know that there's a lot of people in the chat and maybe that will watch the replay and say, hey, why didn't you guys touch on some of this? That's the reason. There's going to be a time and place for that. And that will come sometime in the future. We don't know when that will be. Tony D is in the chat and he's checking in from EquiSearch. Lost is not alone. He says, let's just go help the missing. Tony, you got it, brother. He's part of the drone team with EquiSearch. So a lot of people are chiming in, but listen, if you have questions, put in the chat, #Doug or #USC, #DutyRon. We're going to take some questions in about 10 or 15 minutes. But now, Doug, somebody in the chat asks, what is USC? And might have been someone that came in a little bit late, but if you could answer that question, what's USC? What's the mission and statement? And what are you guys looking to do? And who is behind it?
Like Tony just said, we're going to help the missing in all things missing person. There's a lot of learning that we have to do. There's some areas, ground searching areas, aerial searching that we're going to expand into. And it's all things advocating for families of the missing and the missing themselves. And, we're going to be processing our resources. We're going to be networking with other nonprofits and other agencies. And as we are able to expand the impact we have the ability to make, we will do that. So it's not going to be, just underwater. It's going to be on land. It'll be in the air. It'll be simply sitting down with a family, giving them our platform to spread awareness for their missing loved one. Because there's not enough of that. We have a lot of the true crime community that's evolving is amazing, but there can never be enough help. So it's really I'm really passionate about making sure that, families of the missing continue to have a voice where they really haven't had one. And also, searching as much as we can.
Right. And I think too, Doug, people are curious of, do you have a team assembled or is it just you? Is it a one-man show at this point? Are you looking for I'm going to share on the screen here your website, and it says on the website, request forms and so forth. Are you, this is in the infancy stages where you're building and you're trying to get it? Is there a team behind you? I see that in the chat. People just keep reiterating the same thing.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. We are in the infant stages. We are, we're processing all of the information and the volunteers that come in, and anybody that knows, especially you dealing with law enforcement and anything search and rescue, we are only as strong as our volunteers. So once we amass, a good database of volunteers and we vet that process, we have a team. We'll be expanding our team. We'll be introducing people here shortly, and it's all volunteer based. It's all volunteer based. Whether it's the mental health services that come in, and or individuals in their community that reach out and say, "Hey, Doug, when you're in Pennsylvania, I want to help you. I have this team of people. We can be a resource for you." So it's growing by the second,
Right.
literally growing by the second. Somebody's watching this right now and just saw that website and is going to fill out a volunteer form, and that's how we're going to grow. And we're only as strong as our volunteers. And for those of you who don't know, all of the major search organizations that have been doing this for a long time, such as Texas EquiSearch, they are only as strong as their volunteers.
Yeah.
And the more volunteer, the more muscle, the bigger the impact that you have the ability to create. And that's the stage we're at right now, is harnessing the power that's coming in, and we'll be utilizing that very thoroughly.
My good friend Florida Pete, who I know and love dearly. Pete, thank you for that question. When did you start? Doug?
Yeah, well, the end of 2019. So it's been about 3 years, all by happenstance. All by happenstance. I didn't choose this, but I followed it, and it's grown. And you gotta. It's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing, despite things that have happened and gone on. God puts you in a specific place to make a difference in people's lives, and that's powerful,
Right.
extremely powerful.
And I think a second part to that question, Doug, would be when did maybe he might have asked too, is when did you start the United Search Corps? Did that happen 2 weeks ago? Did it happen a month ago? Maybe.
Yeah, so we just have made announcements 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So technically it's 2 weeks,
Awesome.
So we've been forming, and we're working with legal teams and firms and other nonprofit organizations that helped us build the core of what we're doing. And we've been doing that for some time, but we just made announcements. So it's we're a baby organization,
The
and
infancy.
we need all of the help that we can get.
Right. It's in the infancy stage. And so many people are asking, is Nick or any of the prior team going to be working with you guys? And, you may or may not be able to answer that. I don't know.
I cannot answer that right now. However, I will say that, like you stated earlier, I'm willing to work with anybody and everybody, no matter what. And nobody can stop anybody from doing good things in the world.
Absolutely.
So it's only a matter of time, and when the time's right, and doing all of that stuff. Yeah, those guys are great individuals, and I want them next to me.
Excellent. And thank you, Princess Michelle. She says, thank you for your dedication, Doug, with some prayer emojis. Miss Donna Marie says, thank you to everyone joining us tonight. We appreciate you all. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How many people are in here?
Looks like at around 700 right now, about 700.
700 people. How many likes do we have?
Oh, I don't know. That I would have to rely on the chat.
Hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like
out.
button and you're watching this right now, what are you waiting for? Hit the like button.
Yep. Share it out. Jeff Heaslip says, proud of you, Doug. Seen you grow a lot the last few years, and very happy where you are going. Stay strong, brother. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for that.
Yes, Jeff. Much love, Jeff.
All right. So a lot of great people in the chat. I wanted to just switch gears up a little bit here. I know we've been peppering you about questions about this new organization, and there's more to come. And folks can always go over to your YouTube channel, which I've taken the liberty of linking down below. He's approaching 100,000 subscribers. So go over to Doug's YouTube channel and subscribe, and also give that a thumbs up there. More subscribers.
Please.
the more support he'll get to do this, the great work that he plans to do. I want everyone also to understand, in the description of this is going to be a clickable link, not a link that you have to type out, a clickable one. And you can just go down there and click on Doug's website. This is another dig to you can go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. You can go and check out his website. But I want to switch gears up. You did something called the Bone Rush. And you were in New York City, and you did text me and you said, "Hey, Ron, I'm going to be in New York." But this old man must have either read it and forgot about it or deleted the message. And I missed a chance to hang out with you in New York City. You want to talk a little bit about what you did there?
Yeah, absolutely. And you completely got me in trouble, because if you would have been there when I was detained by NYPD and the Coast Guard, they would have saw you and just kept it moving. But thanks to you, I was detained for 2 hours. Anyway, if you guys haven't watched the Joe Rogan podcast, where John Reeves was on the Joe Rogan podcast and he dropped truth bombs on the National Museum of Natural History, dumped some really valuable bones in the East River back in the 40s and the 50s. And he was pretty upset, and it created a bone rush. A bone rush is an amazing brand, all things related to searching and also uncovering mysteries, relating to bones. And, me, Heavy D, Diesel Dave, Hands, and the whole crew, along with Dirty Water Don and Gannibal, the Legend, and all those other amazing dive guys, we were up there diving in the East River. And yes, that is no joke. Diving in the East River is probably one of the most difficult rivers I've ever dove in. It is not a river to play around in. The current, it's tidal, it's very deep. Some of the areas are 60, 70, 80 feet deep. And the trash, I mean, you can imagine, the dangers, the toxicness. Somebody told me the other day I was glowing. I think they were complimenting me, but I was like, no, I dove in the East River. But Bone Rush is cool. And so far, Dirty Water Don has found a mammoth tusk shard, as well as a steppe bison jawbone, which has confirmed this story that has been released by John Reeves. If you guys don't know Gold Rush and all those guys up in Alaska, John Reeves is the owner of a lot of land up there behind the scenes of Gold Rush, where a lot of these bones have come off of his family's land for, over 100+ years. And, back in the 40s, his family donated them to the museum. They sat in a storage room and were discarded. They were just dumped. Back then they didn't know the value of them. They just discarded them. And also back then, it was practice for municipalities and businesses to dump in the river. There was actually a dump site for the city on East 65th Street at the time. And we've been up there in the river, and we'll be working there for a couple more months with the Bone Rush crew, doing some amazing things. Really cool guys. Hats off to them. When you're around good people doing good things, the level of support that comes with it is just it's magical. So New York, love you, man. Love you, New York.
It was great to even watch that video. It's about 29 minutes long. If it's all right with you, I want to play a little clip of you. You get in there, you get a little chance to do a little plug for your USC, and then you actually are on film getting into the water, but you had this big ass heavy, looked like tank over your head. It looked like a fishbowl that they put on top.
It's a Kirby. It's a Kirby dive helmet. That helmet was, I believe, invented. Oh man, like about 100 years ago. It was actually first invented for a fireman, and a couple of firemen died from wearing it. And then they were like, okay, that's not going to work, so let's make it a dive helmet. And now it's used heavily in the commercial diving industry. It's they weigh about 40 pounds a piece. They're no joke. That's next level diving compared to what I've been accustomed to. So it was a huge learning experience for me.
I think I saw a video with your friend Nick. Nick Rin had one of those in his studio on his YouTube, and he was trying to like hold it up, and it was really
Yes.
easy. Yeah, Nick had one. So let's play this little clip, and then I'll go forward to the other part where you actually get in the water. But this is you out on in New York Harbor, and you're doing your thing with the bone rush. So let's take a listen.
For those of you who don't know, I'm no longer with the search organization I used to be with. I am now with United Search Corps. We're a nonprofit organization, being a voice for the voiceless and representing the unrepresented, as well as fighting for those who can't fight for themselves. 600,000 people go missing each and every single year, and that's what I'm still fighting for. We're out searching for missing people. And if you guys want to keep up with everything that I'm going to be doing in the near future with United Search Corps, make sure you connect with those platforms. Check us out online. Go to our website, look at all the cool information that we have on our website. There's a lot there. Reach out to us. If you know somebody that's missing, if you have somebody that's missing in your family, reach out to me. We want to represent you. We want to be a voice for your family member. Please reach out to us.
We're going to link him right down there below so that you can find it easily, because let's be honest, you're probably not going to search. But if it's clickable, you're going to click it, right? Thanks for being here, Dougie.
Thanks, man.
Wow. So that was fun. That looked like a really awesome day. And now, how long were you guys out? Was that a 2-day thing, or was that a 1-day thing? And what were the temperatures like there? It looked like it wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold.
Yes. So we were there for 3 days on that clip, and it wasn't too cold, but the river was cold. And then we're really deep down there at on different dives, and it wasn't too bad. When we're out in the elements doing things like that, we don't really worry about the elements. If there's a very special person to me that has a really good quote that's always stuck with me, no matter what I do, and that's if somebody can grieve and miss for their family being missing every day, I can search and put up with the elements every day, and not whine about it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I've seen so many great people from being, I am the law enforcement liaison for EquiSearch Midwest, and I've seen so many great people on their roster just go out, mothers, just leaving their families with babysitters or family members and going out and searching for the missing, multi-state searches and so forth. Twyla Cisco, the search coordinator for EquiSearch Midwest, she is an angel. And this woman is probably 90 pounds soaking wet. She's a ball of fire. But let's take a look at Doug suiting up and jumping into the New York Harbor. It's murky water, a lot of silt at the bottom. And as you say, it's going to take a lot of dredging to get to where you need to go, because it's, centuries of just stuff being dumped into into the water. So here's a look up. What's this guy's name? He is a funny dude.
Diesel Dave.
That's Diesel Dave. There you
Diesel
go.
Dave.
I'm getting a look at his nostrils right now.
Good.
All right, there you are, Doug.
Want this on him?
This is Doug suiting up. You putting wax in your beard? What are you doing there?
I was twisting it up so it stays. Yeah.
Gotcha. So this is that heavy. Now, again, is this awkward to be inside that thing, or did you ever dive with one of these heavy helmets?
I had until being involved with this group of guys. No, I had never been involved in this type of diving. This is a pretty extreme diving. These suits are built for some of the hardest working, some of the most dangerous diving that you could do. And they took their time. We did some educating on it before. We didn't just jump in.
Wow.
But I like it. I actually prefer it. It's just not
interesting.
It's just not typical for what I would use every day. But if you're going to be underwater working, this is what you need. This is the setup that is pertinent to being down there for extended periods of time.
Wow. Let's let this roll. I put it back so everybody can see it for, it's just maybe a minute or two. So let's let this play.
I want this on him. I'm going to shave my head here.
Ooh.
Diver on bottom. Roger, diver's on bottom. Here's equalize. Roger, here's equalize. 1201. Give him all the slack he wants. Run him out. He's experienced. This is a little bit better than LARPing. It's a little bit better, right? It's a little better. Something good.
What it is here?
Say it again.
His mouth after 1 to 5.
You say something, Bishop?
So give me some slack.
Roger. Give Diver slack. Slack Diver.
You would have heard me.
You missed a shot for that.
Nice.
It's
not what we're in New York for, though.
Yeah, so the bottom's real silty. There were times where I was down there and I'm several feet into it, and it still doesn't stop. So it's, yeah. It's going to take digging to find anything here, like extreme digging and methodically, slowly, like just really digging in slowly.
So then Heavy D goes down. Can you tell us about what that experience was like? I mean, that had to have been a freaky experience, never diving in that water. What was your takeaway from that?
You know, all the water I dive in is different. And that was probably the most dangerous river I've ever been in. It's not, you know, we were just down from Hell's Gate, which you know about Hell's Gate.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it's treacherous. And you know, I thought Chicago was bad. I'm sorry, Ron, but that river's bad, man. When it comes to the current, the conditions, and also the environmental conditions there. It's bad. But it's what you're going to get around any major city in America. You know, none of them are pretty or clean.
Right. And like you said, people were joking with you that you were glowing when you came out of that water. That water is nuclear, man. I could tell you from firsthand experiences, New York City, retired New York City police detective, if somebody falls in that water, you're not making it out of there. It's a very treacherous, dangerous body of water. And the tide and the current is just completely insane. It's a frightening sight. I mean, I walked along that edge there, and it just scares the shit out of you. So it's not a place that you want to be, and you voluntarily dove in there. When you were at the end of that boat, it looked like you weren't sure whether you should go in or not, and the guy kind of like patted you on the back, like, "Go ahead, go in."
Yeah. So if you guys haven't watched either one of those episodes on Heavy D's channel on YouTube, you need to go do that. You know, we're going off of what piggybacking off of what you just said.
Right.
In episode 1, when we were there on our first day, Chris, the explorer from Blackwater Research, actually came dislodged from the bottom at about 70 feet deep, and we almost lost him. That river took him and just like he was gone. By the time he popped up, he was out of sight. And thankfully, we had the sheriff's boat with us, and we were able to disconnect it and hunt him down. But you know what you just said. If we would not have been there with another boat at the drop of a dime, we probably wouldn't have gotten him. And you know what? Nobody probably would have seen him either. And you guys are gonna have to check that episode out.
Yeah,
the episode one, the Bone Rush.
I'll link it down below in the description to that episode. It's 29 minutes long, but it's well worth the watch because it was at some points it was really hectic. Like, but you guys, what's great about this is that his team, Heavy D, and the film guys that were there, and everyone that was involved, you threw some humor into it because when you're in a tough situation like that, where it is a little nerve-wracking, it's always good to take the edge off with a little comedy. And I saw that was probably mixed in during the whole course of the day. And some people will look at it like, well, okay, here you're going down for bones, looking for stuff that's hundreds of years old or whatever. When you're searching for the missing, it's a whole different ball game. It's all business. And there's really not a lot of time to decompress, and that's the important part of also one of the aspects that you spoke about is the counseling and the services for the victims' families. That's an important part that sometimes gets missed, and I think that you homed in on that because of your experience and seeing the grief and seeing the emotional roller coaster, if you will, and you guys are used to doing those cold cases. But in the Kylie Rodney case, you got to see what a real live active case is and how intense it is. But there is a lot of families who are missing a loved one for 20, 30 years. And when you have that recovery, it all comes gushing back. Those emotions come back. And that's why I have a friend, Dr. Stephen Washgill, is a psychologist, and he mans a 24-hour, 365 days, 7-day a week a suicide hotline for New York City police officers and their families. And as a matter of fact, the last time we had the doctor on, he said, I would take a call from anybody on that hotline. So I'm going to try to link you up with Dr. Stephen Washgill and see if maybe he could, work with you because he does everything remotely. So when you're at all of these different places across the country, it's kind of hard to get these healthcare professionals to be out in the field with you guys. But to have them available to get on the phone and maybe speak to someone who's really having a hard time, that's a very important aspect. And I was so proud to hear you talk about that, because that gets missed by a lot of these search groups because it's so much to do. But that is an important part. Do you want to talk a little bit about what brought you to that, Doug, and offering that?
Yeah, it comes down to innovating and adapting, constantly changing to grow, and to make a bigger impact. And that sums it all up right there, which is how can I make a better impact? How can I be a better asset? How can I be a better resources not only for law enforcement but for the families that I'm representing? And that's key. That's key to coming into a cold case where somebody's been missing, let's just say 15 years. And most of the time, families have never had any help. And the case has gone cold. Nobody's helping them. They have to put up walls mentally and emotionally in order to move on with their life and cope. And here it is. I'm coming in and I'm providing hope. I'm tearing down these walls, and they're dealing with all of these emotions and things that they have never dealt with. Right. And it's important that when I leave, whether I find them or I don't, that they have an outlet or some type of structure there to take care of them if they need it. If they want it, they're going to have it. And that's what true representation entails. I can come out here and I can be a voice for the families all I want, and I'm really passionate about it. But what am I doing afterwards? What's the bigger impact that I can create with the services that I want to provide? And that's what we're going to do. And if you're watching this and you're a mental health professional or a counselor, please go to our website and fill out a form. There's a form for family service volunteers. And, like I said before, we are only as strong as our volunteers, and we need your help. So go over to our website, check it out, share our website, share our mission so that, we can get the help that we need, but also so that another family may see it and maybe like, what, my loved one's missing, or I want to help. And it's a community. It's going to be community driven, which is why it's a nonprofit organization. There's 100% transparency, integrity. Nobody truly owns a nonprofit. I don't own it. So therefore, the community and the other organizations and agencies that are going to come together, we're all going to come together to do some really good things. And it's all about making a big impact. And, how does that grow? Where does that go? What does that look like? We're still forming, and, we're putting our all into it. And it's amazing because so many people are already supporting it and spreading our message. And then that's what it's going to take. It's going to take relentlessness to make this happen. And that's exactly what we're going to put forth. And, it may not happen right away all at once, but we're going to grow, and we're going to grow smart, and we're going to adapt with the resources that are, offered to us. And we know we're going to utilize them to the best of our capability.
Excellent. Doug, you said it well. You covered a lot of the ground here. We're almost at the hour, and I want to go to the chat. So in the chat, just put hashtag Doug or hashtag USC, hashtag DutyRon. But you answered some of the questions that I took from DutyRon.com. You answered, what is your goals with USC, United Search Corps? Who are you going to help and how? You just talked about that. And I want to thank Gail for sending in that question. And I want to thank Andrea. Sorry, Andrea. I always say Andrea. It's Andrea. Thank you, Andrea, for asking about what the goals are. Doug has covered that. One of our good friends, Tim S., sends in a question. Are you going to be exclusive underwater search and recovery like you were with the prior search team, or is your organization going to be doing ground and air searching by drone and so forth? So that's a good question. Thank you for that, Doug.
Yeah, we're not going to be just underwater searching. We are going to implement ground searching, drone searching, aerial searching when we have pilots that are able to volunteer. And again, that comes down to, the resources that we are able to accumulate in certain areas, as well as also the volunteers that we have in our database that we're going to amass. So as we grow, our capabilities are going to grow. And, I'm all like I said before, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's all about innovating and adapting. And that's how you grow, and that's how you make a big impact. And we were not going to be able to do it there's a lot of things that we need to help make this possible. We do have a fundraiser, so please check out our website. I know not everybody can donate, but simply sharing our website, sharing our fundraiser will help us meet our goals and get the necessary equipment that we're going to need.
Excellent. And I'm trying to pull up the fundraiser right now. Jan Martin sends in a hashtag USC. That's for you. My husband is a firefighter and he searches for grants. Do you have any specific grants you were interested in?
So our board member, Nancy, is actually specializes in grant writing, and she's going to be working really hard on that and making sure that we secure some funding if it's there. And yes, grant writing and, soliciting, other nonprofits to help us it's all networking. We're going to be networking in any way possible that we can to make it possible.
Absolutely. Maydell sends in a hashtag Doug. What are ways of donating to your wonderful cause? And we outlined them here, and Doug just mentioned it. But on the website here, this is the official website, which is linked in the description. You go here, and it says "Help Our Cause," and there's a little donate button right here. Let me just take that comment off the screen. I'll click donate, and then here you go. So the goal is 65,000. They're up to 5,900. We are going to donate tonight from Crime Time with DutyRon $500 to your organization. I'll do that after I get off with you. All the super chats and so forth, and the support that comes in here during the course of this show, and anything that comes in from watching this video and sharing it. We're going to go ahead and send $500. We'll kick him up over 6,000 on his funds raised as of tonight, and that $500 was going to come from all of the members of Crime Time with DutyRon in the community here. It's a small way to say thanks for what you're doing, and it's our way of trying to help out and push the cause forward. So that we'll do again as soon as we get off of this live stream. $500 to the cause, and that's how That's how invested I am in it, because I know that these families, they deserve their loved ones to be brought home, and how important it is, and how much pain they're in while waiting. And the pain and suffering is, you cannot even imagine. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So being a father, and Doug, I know you are a dad as well. This is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I'll do whatever I can to help support you and the many others that are doing this.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So again, I want to wrap it up with, this is the 1 hour. I looked at the chat. There's a lot of redundant questions. Thank you so much for everyone's questions. Quickly, I'll scan it again before we wrap it up. Florida Pete, thank you for being here. Lexi, thank you. Joey Brooklyn, thank you for you being a great moderator and a friend. Always appreciate you. Who else? Donna Marie, Dawn Marie, Laced Life with Lacey. Thank you, Kel. A lot of people from outside the country. If you're chiming in from outside of the United States or within the United States, let us know where you're watching from and just say hello. True California Girl, #1. Thank you for the $5 super chat for USC. Thank you. Sharon Creates, who's a great friend of Crime Time with DutyRon. Thank you for using your talents for the good. Thank you. Jan Martin sends in another $20. Let's all do what we can to support this cause. Thank you, Jan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Doug. So I'm going to leave you with final words before we wrap it up. Not many other questions are coming in, but I tell you, tonight, this hour and a couple of minutes that I spent with you, we had a little bit of a snafu in the beginning there. I don't know what happened with the headphones and the delay, but it looks like you're on your, maybe you got onto your phone and using your good old AirPods.
Yep.
Those never fail. Those work, you know. We can have these
never fail.
We can have these studio stuff set up and it can just all go bad real quick. Doug, final words for the folks that are watching. What's yet to come? I didn't get to ask you who Doug Bishop is, but I'm going to do that the next time you come back. I promise I'm going to ask you that question. I know who you are, but I know a lot of people might want to know. We'll have to tune in for the next time when you come back. But final thoughts, Doug.
Final thoughts. You know, make sure you guys, first of all, you're subscribed to DutyRon. Because if you're not subscribed to DutyRon and you're watching this, what are you waiting for? Hit the like button. Go over to my YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, the bell notification. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming out with Bone Rush, with Heavy D and the crew, and some others I cannot name right now, but you are not going to want to miss it. And, you know, last but not least, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what you're going through, it's always possible. It's always possible. Put forth an actionable plan and make it happen. And don't let anybody tell you can't. It doesn't matter. Not everybody needs to have your vision because everybody doesn't need to understand it. It's your vision. So be relentless.
Awesome. Awesome words. Hey, and as I always like to say in all of these live streams, it's important that we all acknowledge that, you know, we never know what people are going through, and always support your friends and family and the folks that are part of your community. And whether that's an online community, whether it's the community that you are dealing with in person, but support your local law enforcement, support your local volunteers. Listen, my fire district here in the county that I live in is not a paid fire district. These are volunteers. So if I call 911 and I have a medical emergency, or if my house is on fire, these volunteers come. Doug, Dave Rader, all of the great ones, Nick, Josh, all of those great people, they give their time. They're volunteers. They're doing this, you know, this God's work, as I say. So support these people. Get around them. Keep doing what you're doing, Doug, and we will keep supporting you. As I like to end them, these live streams, I like to say, God bless the world. God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially all victims of crime and their families. We send them strength, prayers, and positive vibes. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Doug Bishop with USC, that's United Search Corps, we wish you guys a good night, and we thank you for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Doug, don't go anywhere because I want to talk to you.
Thank you.
All right, peace from Doug and DutyRon.
Have a good night, guys.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.